82 billion US dollars. This is, as of this recording, the valuation of Tesla, and there's a lot on the market to discuss if this is a fair valuation or an unfair valuation. However, I believe it's a very fair and even undervalued valuation. Why? All about it here in this vlog.
Wolf of Dubai.
So throughout this vlog, we will talk about why Tesla is so much worth and if it's overvalued, if it's undervalued, and we will compare it to other players in the car industry, in the traditional car industry, but also other companies. And towards the end of the video, we will also compare Tesla's actual value right now, which was $82 billion, and how the companies like Apple, Amazon, and Nvidia, other growth companies, moved from this valuation that Tesla has today. So make sure to stay till the end. Now let's dive into first the very brand new analysis of Credit Suisse. As of this recording, this was yesterday, and this is just hilarious. So there's an analyst who is just saying that a blue sky scenario, so a bull scenario, makes the stock valued at $700. And now this is the funny part, and I can see that a lot of analysts outside there, they are trying to cover themselves by saying, hey, I think the stock can go up there, I think the stock should be here, and but in case I put the value also very, very low in a bear case scenario, just I have everything covered, and whatever direction it goes, I was right. So actually the bear scenario is here $100, and he actually let the stock target price, or the current price tag on the stock is 340, so just in the middle, so he is safe. Now this kind of talks about the valuations are very normal for Tesla. It is for a long time, is it really valued or not? Because in the end, it's a growth story. It's unbelievable growth numbers for such a traditional and capital intensive business, and you can see that they are hitting milestone after milestone after milestone. So let's dive into the valuation. So we have a whopping valuation of 82 billion US dollars. Is it really too much if we considering Apple those days has 1.25 trillion valuation, Amazon and Microsoft are coming and going back from a 1 trillion valuation, and even Saudi Aramco, the most valued company on the public stock market, is valued even 2 trillion valuation. So you can see where the trend is going. This was like a magic number just a couple of years ago, and now it's just broken every now and then. More and more companies breaking down this number, and I believe also Tesla has the potential to break the 1 trillion valuation number very soon, which is for me like the next 10 years, you know. So let's look into the valuation of other car manufacturing companies. So $82 billion is Tesla, and we have Volkswagen with 88 billion dollar valuation. We have Toyota with a $200 billion valuation. We have Daimler less than 60 billion valuation. General Motors with a 50 billion valuation, and the current valuation of Tesla is double than Ford. Now you see that there is way no comparison between how many cars the company is selling and the valuation of the company. Otherwise, you know, this would not be the case, how the market valued this company. Now let's talk about the valuation for a second. There is a real reason for Tesla why the market is actually thinking this Tesla is so much worth, almost that much as the most selling car manufacturer VW, and this is growth. Now Tesla is growing whopping 50% revenue and cars year over year as per current status, and this can even exponentially grow with the Gigafactory in China and the year after the German Gigafactory. So you can really see the growth here. Even in the existing manufacturing in US, they are improving the productivity. So this is very nice to see as a Tesla investor. This is growing and growing and growing, and even more growing as farther and faster growing as far as we go. So this of course will have some peak, at some point the electric car demand will be, at the pace or the medium, but there's another market that we will talk about as well, the ride-sharing market. So let's talk about the valuation for the traditional car companies. Now, if you are thinking about the traditional car companies or the car market in general, there is three pillars of the future. So there is ride sharing, there is autonomous drive, and there's electric. Now we have to see the infrastructure of the future car is electric because the cars are just faster. They have, in the end, they will have more range. They have less maintenance free, and so on. So you have many additional advantages over the ICE, the internal combustion engine cars. And on the other side, if you are looking what is the car of the future, is definitely self-driving. Now imagine that the people will live not anymore that much, cramped into the city, but can, live a bit outside the city, so they can, while the car is driving, they can actually already work or, have some be entertained and so on and so forth. So you can imagine how the future of the car is. And actually, if you consider how many people just use the car for transportation, and 95% of the time that we own the car and we have the car, we actually don't use it. It's in our garage, it's our parking spot, it's standing just outside there, our offices, while we are at work, and then we are using it 20, 30, 60, 120 minutes to go to work or to other destinations, but most of the time the car is there. So these two things, ride sharing and autonomous, really work together, and the plans are already there by Tesla with the robotaxi network as well as autonomy. They are far way ahead of the other car manufacturers. If you consider all this will be the future of vehicles of the future, then you see that the market and the investors, they are investing in the future, and the future of Tesla is very bright. So let's talk about Tesla comparing to other tech companies, because now, as you know, the Tesla is very much a tech company, and the hardware side, the car manufacturing side, is just, let's say, 25 to 30%, but the rest is software, ride sharing, and mobility in general. So let's compare Tesla, which has today a valuation of $82 billion, and they have a revenue of about $24.4 billion, an operating margin of 0.6, and a net income of negative $827 million. And the revenue growth over the last average 5 years is 54 or 53.6%, almost 54% per year. This is insane, guys. Now, I want to take three other growth companies of the past and compare it, and maybe show you what is the future of Tesla valuation. And therefore, let's jump into Nvidia. Nvidia is a pioneer in gaming. They are producing, let's say, graphic chips and cards for the gaming industry. They are big in gaming, but also they are developing chips for the self-driving car industry. And 2007, they had exactly the same Tesla valuation as it is right now, and they had about $9.7 billion US revenue, so half or even less than half of Tesla has now. They had a 33 margin on the operation, which is very, very good. They had a net income of $3.1 billion and a revenue growth of almost 18%. Now, what happened 12 months from then with Nvidia? The stock valuation grow 87% 20.6% to over $150 billion. Now let's dive into the next one, which is Amazon. So Amazon in 2010 had exactly the Tesla valuation of today, $82 billion. And by then they did $34.2 billion, so a little bit more than Tesla is doing today. The operation margin was far less than Nvidia, for example, because they are also investing lots and lots in infrastructure, very capital intensive business, especially the e-commerce business. And they made about $1.2 billion, which I think Tesla can make maybe next year or the year after. And the revenue growth is just a 32.1 annually, and the stock price went up from this about 10% to $88 billion. So you can see here that Amazon didn't grow that much over the next year with these numbers. And last but not least, Apple, one of the biggest tech stories of our last decades. 2006 they had exactly the market valuation of Tesla, which they by then made a very similar revenue, $20.7 billion US, with a margin of 14.6%. They had a net income of $2.4 billion, and they grow their revenue about 29.2%, and the stock 1 year later grow 100% to $160 billion. Now if you compare all this to Tesla, you can see that Tesla has the biggest growth rate, so even it outgrows all the growth stocks before in this kind of market cap. And the only, let's say, negative point here for Tesla is that they are not profitable, which they are working obviously now on it. And I believe if they cracking this number, then the car manufacturer slash solar slash energy company Tesla can really break good grounds here. So let's come to the Tesla conclusion. So finally, I personally believe that Tesla can be easily in the next 1 or 2 years a $150 billion company, with considering of the future and the leap that they have on the technology. On the other side, I believe the long-term goal in the next 10 years can be $1 trillion valuation. Then we are looking into a stock price of like $6,000. So more than 12-fold from here over the next 10 years. And I would love to have you on board. Make sure to subscribe and like this video, and I see you tomorrow because I'm vlogging every single day.